Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing the Rakdos Mayhem deck. This is a very interesting deck with a new mechanic that is a rebalance on an old mechanic, which we'll get to. But we're playing it a bit different. We are playing the Mayhem deck with Higher Claw and Flamecast Gecko, where the Gecko I thought was a very good card to go along with the Mayhem plan, where we can discard a Mayhem card and then draw a card. Kind of works the same way as NT in some situations. But Mayhem says you may cast this card from your graveyard for X cost, this one specifically red and black, if you discarded it this turn. Timing rules still apply, so we have a couple cards with Mayhem, and then we have cards that trigger Mayhem or cards that get beneficial things from discards and stuff like that. We're not going overboard with it. We're playing it a little bit more lightly, as we kind of want to play a different variation of it than a lot of other people have been playing. So with that said, this is the list we're on. We're going to go ahead and dive into the games and see how well we can do. Unfortunately, we don't get to start off with like a red card here, but that's not the worst. Our hand still curves out pretty well, where we can go into Mako, attack with NT, discard this, Mayhem it. Now it feels obviously a bit worse than what it could have, but this does get trample, so oh boy, we got stuff to happen, that's for sure. So what do you say? Discard a card and then put it on one counter. Whenever you discard one or more cards, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card until the next end step. Okay, well, I do have a good card to discard, so we'll go to combat here. We're on to play, so obviously if we hit a land here, we're good. I could have discarded this, but I'm just waiting here. Like, playing it there with nothing in my graveyard wouldn't have done me any good, right? So it's just like that weird thing where, sure, I can play this early, and it's a 4-3 trampler and all that, but it's just weird. Now they're probably debating on whether they trade off. If they have like raised past, that'll make some sense. If they don't have raised past, it's going to feel a bit weird and underwhelming. Sure. That hits. Go here. I can now Mako. You can now Gecko. Then with this 2 mana, like I could discard, but I feel like there's no point. I think I just take 3. We just pop this, right? And then I can play this, bring back this, I suppose. Discarding obviously would have been maybe good with this, but I just don't feel it necessary this turn. Trample, when it enters, return target creature with mana value 3 less from the graveyard of the battlefield. It gains this creature attacks combat when able. Yep, sure. Sweet. So now we have a Higher Claw. Yeah, I mean, I guess we just go to combat here. Attack. Discard. It's going to get a counter anyway, so let's protect our Gecko. Let's force a tough block here. NT also might be the target. Maybe we could have overloaded NT here. Most likely, if they have removal at sorcery speed anyway, this pause is most likely Umbral. Honestly. Oh! When it enters, you may discard a card. If you do, put a 1/1 counter on them. Sure. So we get to do a pretty sweet play here, actually. It's pretty exciting. So we could play this, discarding this. NT doesn't have trample here, so that works as a block. Sure. They'll sack. They'll surveil 1. We basically have to really, really commit here to get everything over the top so our opponent can't do much. I think this Gecko might actually be nuts for this deck. Get it in early, get to activate it, kind of triggering everything we want when we want. I do have a Mako in there. So actually, would the better play be this, bring back Mako, play this, discard the Higher Claw? then it would just grow. Although Higher Claw is really good. And I can pump it every turn to give me more of a mana sink. Yeah, I'm here for that. Let's go the Weaver here. Weaver trigger. Get rid of the Higher Claw. Counter. I guess NT's going to trigger off that. I wasn't really thinking about that. But obviously I'm going with this. Also, the gift here is going to work incredibly well with geckos later in the future. But let's bring back Higher Claw because it does ping and doesn't necessarily have to make contact to do its thing. So we got a lot going on. Thanks. But yeah, it's a pretty sweet turn to pan out for us. The deck working out fairly well. I do feel like the biggest fear we have is this deck does feel a lot like Lizards did initially, where it's like we're kind of in a really tough spot most of the time in our games. Well, if anything dies, I'm technically I have 5-ish damage here. This is legendary, so it doesn't really help us much. I do have to attack here. I should just discard this anyway. Not to Gecko, but to NT. Finish, trample, has to attack. Might as well put a counter on it, I guess. It's in. Higher Claw. Obviously, we're going to have NT trigger here. Might as well. Mako grows. I'm going to put the counter on the Higher Claw because we can always pump into it. So trample, menace. 3, 4. Obviously, this is receiving a block of some kind. Most likely the flyer. The Blood Witches don't really want to block, which is what's really tough, obviously. May discard card. Game trample. You discard one more. Okay. We have no cards in the hand, though. Sure. That block is about what we thought. They don't have a black to bring back to Miner, but most likely they have a Raise to Pass coming here. And they're going to take 6. Ooh, yeah, so they have a Raise to Pass. They're just on an all-out block, most likely. I don't know about that block, considering I have another one in my graveyard. Like, I have one I can play. Gonna be one of the few decks that's like weird for us to get through. We could definitely still lose here. Raise the Pass obviously slams us, I think. Can't sacrifice itself. Sure. I mean, I'm just dead with what's in the graveyard if they raise the Pass. It's just what it is. Sure, I guess. Maybe I should have put it on Mako just so I had more damage, but yeah. Just somehow have to dodge Raise to Pass. That's about what we got. Yeah, that's fine. So now we bring this back, which was why it was weird to me that they did that. Went to Higher Claw again. They might as well play out. And now it's just lose to Raise to Pass, probably. The math's not even close. If they Raise to Pass, the game is instantly over. This is a situation where like cards like Burst Lightning and stuff are so important and relevant. Or like a Bitter Triumph or something where we could have shot the creature. Or Hound. Oh, okay. Good game, opponent. I was like, I swear a little part of me thought they just said good game and then cast Raise to Pass. I'm like, dude, I am so dead to that. Just, I mean, this alone is 4 damage off these Vengeful Blood Witches. Like, it's just not close. It's just never close there, but we get there fortunately enough and we'll take it. All right, we are first. We're ready to go here, I think. I mean, yeah, sure. A little bit, obviously, Sucks that we got to shock this in, but we just have to think of this as any other shock land, considering typically when they do shock lands, I'm so surprised it didn't. Typically when they do shock lands and stuff, it is like full scale that the next set is also shock lands. But they decided not to, which is quite crazy. Do we just play this and just discard one of these? We see a black source, so I don't actually know what that... These are sorcery. If I just do this and then pump this, because then it dodges like -2 removal. Makes nowhere to run. Have to kind of come in early on this. Blue black. Okay. Fell? Okay. I guess we just play out our stuff, right? Guess we just do this. Might as well grow our board, make it at least somewhat dangerous. Even though it's not the most impactful board I've ever seen, but... I can't believe they played Fell. This is a card that's like good removal, but the sorcery is just so... Like, blue-black in the mirror never wants to see this card because it's just so hard to use it. Like, Kaido is hexproof on their turn. Obviously can't use it, and it's not even a creature. And then, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird card. Like, for example, right here, I just know they don't have it, so... Or a Fell is not possible. Sure. We can no attack here, because then we can do discard a card. We'll do a sure. Now Mako will go up, and then we can just do this. And now, obviously, our cards are good in a way. This has to attack. We play another higher claw, then we pump this higher claw, even though we actually will pump the one that stays behind, right? Okay. See, it's so weird because they have to, like, this deck wants to play at instant speed so badly. Can't think of any Spider-Man cards that are like that care, right? How's Mayhem worded? Card from your graveyard if you discarded it this turn. So you have to discard it. Okay. So let's play the Surveil land. Let's look. Sure, I mean, it's a creature. We have 2 mana to pay for a counterspell. Combat. Sure. Tapping down that. This has to attack, so it doesn't really matter. We're going to pump this one, of course. Pumping this one doesn't make a ton of sense because we lose it anyway. A higher claw at the top. Maybe not the best card to keep, but a card that does something on this board is better than not doing anything, right? They can't really attack here. They can. I'll just block, and then they'll have to shuffle. They don't shuffle at all, which is interesting enough. Let's play a higher claw. And we have no reason to wait in this matchup. I just don't think we can afford to. It might flash in like Enduring or something. Sure. So that's for this one, right? Yeah. So we want to pump this now, so it becomes a 3/4 that they can't just block and remove. They have to double block, and then they lose both their creatures. Deal. I'll take that trade all day. I'll take this trade at all. If they want to double block anything, one, If they're going to lose their Tidebinder, they want to get rid of this Higher Claw. Leaving the Higher Claw is a mistake. But now, it might be Enduring. Who knows? But if Enduring's coming in, I'm definitely blocking with this Higher Claw. If they go for an all-out attack here, I'd be confused. Arena giving us a little bit of a cliff note of what's probably to come, considering I think I saw them hold up their Restless Reef. Now, this Higher Claw doesn't trigger, but my other one does. I feel like not attacking is a mistake. Go to combat. They could have removal, they could have other Tiebinders, things, so on and so forth, but we're in. We're holding this for discard action later. Just a weird situation we're in, where we drew another land, which isn't obviously ideal. Sure. Probably, well, I guess the Tiebinder doesn't matter, right? Don't mess up here. Slight mistake if this Flood Pits blocks this Higher Claw, because I get to activate it and save my Higher Claw. I have the wrong block here. But I don't know. It's weird. Right now they're taking 5. Now the thing is, this other Higher Claw becomes active, right? It's a weird spot. They're in a really tough spot. I think the Restless Reef needs to block this 3/4 no matter what. Now I think they got the blocks correct. I think this is about the best you can do. Obviously, I could be told otherwise. But it's just not enough. Did I have lethal regard? No. I get... That's the best blocks, I think, but you still die. I guess I wasn't doing the trample math. Maybe they missed it. I do think overall, I know I'm saying that and they lost the game. I think that's the best blocks, but not for that situation. I think if they were living, that's the blocks they had to do. I think they could have switched it around where this just maybe has to block here and then they block out the other way. But it's weird. I don't know. It's a tough spot to be in for sure. I'm going to lose everything here, which is awesome. Back. Player No More Lies, dude. Player 3-drop board wipe. I'm so ready for it. Oh, stock up. Interesting. Sure. Yeah. This is a weird spot where I just want to cycle the Mako, I think. A cycle, I guess. If I find a Higher Claw, I'm definitely going to play it. Screaming Nemesis is pretty good. We want this to be black, I guess. Enter tap. You're 6. Now we get to force him to board wipe, and then we can go right into Screaming Nemesis, I think. Well, I guess they only have 1 wipe. Yeah, it's 4 color, I guess, obviously. I mean, I guess I could play this and discard this, right? Yeah. I think I want them to tap out for, like, answering my Screaming Nemesis every time. I guess I could have also attacked and just pumped a Higher Claw, but there could be a Helix here, which would be pretty brutal. Now, if they 3 steps ahead counter this, I mean, this is 6 free damage, and we'll take it. No More Lies. I mean, kind of the same, right? Half their life total right here. Then, like, Screaming Nemesis is obviously good. No second white, so Day of Judgment's not a thing. A 3-life swing. I mean, jam. I think we know what card they have. I think it's the inevitable card. That's why if I had like a Bitter Triumph, I'd probably just have held it instead, but we'll see. Could have went for Gecko and like discarded, I guess. Like shocked us in, play the Gecko, and then go to combat, see what they do, and then maybe pump the Makos if they answered my Higher Claw, or I have like 2 mana to just pump my Higher Claw. But Screaming Nemesis. This deck's very good at answering creature decks. Seems like maybe might fall short here, hopefully, but Ride's End's possible as we see. Combat. Inevitable defeat. Okay. Sure. Did a lot of tanking just to do exactly what we called for. Down to 3. We'll do black here. Enter tap. Probably should have made it red, but it doesn't really matter in this matchup. Board wipe for us to play Screaming Nemesis after. No. It's weird because I think now it's definitely... I mean, it's definitely just this, right? So they can inevitable defeat again. Sure. Attack. Maybe a Helix here. A Get Lost. Sure. And that's still lethal. Very cool. Nice. When they don't have a board wipe, you can get there eventually, which is very cool. Now it's like a weird thing because I want to play Higher Claw, but I think it's actually to be Mako here. This Fear makes it do 2, and like Higher Claw obviously does 2. Getting this to grow early is obviously good. If I have a second Higher Claw, it's typically second Higher Claw. Here, enter. Probably Higher Claw can just go now, I guess. Well, obviously if I knew there was a land, I would have got rid of the land. We set this up at the beginning of the first main phase. This card cards do whenever you play a land or cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, and yeah, sure. Helix? Oh boy. First on that cycle today, huh? Just where every opponent I play has got Helix in their deck. But that's okay. We have things set up that can answer some things. This is an enchantment, so technically they can get lost it, but right now, fortunately enough, double lightning Helix, okay. Starting town can go because it'll enter tapped. And of course now, I have the Screaming Nemesis after the Helixes have been used and gained life, which obviously sucks, but it is what it is. Whenever another creature you control enters, creature deals 1 damage. Shelter, sure. Discard card, draw a card. I already have a land in there. I mean, let's just go ahead and do it because if we rip another land. Bitter Triumph's actually pretty good. I guess I could just take 3 and shoot this thing. I don't really want to discard either of these. Auto pay the ward. Give me my Nemesis back. Now turns on the Fear, which is great. They're trying, probably a good reason to discard the land because we find something like that. Now we can't interact with them on their turn, I guess. There's Annabelle. A lot of life gain across the board from us. Wow. I don't think I want to do anything here, but I think I have to. Yeah, okay, I have to. So I guess it's Higher Claw. Oh, there's Double Fear, which also forces me to do it. I'm getting a phone call randomly. He can wait. Interesting. I guess we can hold off on this attack, right? No. Here. Card a card. The Fear. do this to just draw a card. Pretty good one. Works really well with this. That call is also for Atlanta, by the way. So definitely in an interesting spot. Will voice ever attack? Now it's on to the... If I was going to answer this, I probably should have attacked, but... Wow, what a weird situation. Do you attack? Do you not attack? I'm personally of the belief you probably don't attack. Starting town. This is going to be 2 mana, right? Like, why would we not do it that way? Alright, well, that works pretty well. Start a card. Answer here. Boom. Combat, attack for 3. This guy. A little bit more damage. This triggers. You fear, of course, now this gives us a draw. That's why fear is obviously so good in a deck like this, because this works incredibly well. But against the life gain, lightning helix, life gain deck, we actually pulled the game out, which is kind of nuts. Sure, add a blast. Going first, this hand's pretty sweet. I think we can keep it, of course. So let's just do that. Let's just keep it. It may go down. It's really weird because I don't know with this exact build what I should drop off. Hopefully this next card kind of gives me my answer. I guess it's a land. Will they trade this? I do not know. But if I play this down, maybe they won't because they'll think I'll cycle it. We'll see. Most of the time, you'll never get that trade, right? Like, your opponent will never trade that. We had literally nothing for it. But now we'll play the Gecko into this turn with a Fear online, maybe. Probably just go ahead and get rid of the land, I guess. I mean, it does replace itself, right? So it's not, like, the worst thing in the world. Alright, cool. Not the most appealing option. Oh, pretty good pickup option, though. It doesn't exile, but that's a 2/2 lifelinker, which would be kind of hard to compete with. And do we take this out, or do we take out this? 2/2 lifelink is bad, but what happens if they shelter this, right? Then we just, like, can never beat it. I think I just have to try to compete with the 1/1 life gain here. Or 2/2 life gainer here. If I put this enchantment in, I get 2 combats, which seems worth doing. If I'm competing with that, like I just have to, right? Attack here, untap here. Pretty crazy turn. Put them to 8. Now they have a 2/2 lifelinker back. That's kind of weird. But again, something like Shelter does. Oh, shock? Well, sure. Gotta be the Fear. The only one that makes sense. Rune Lurker Bat, sure. And an attack, okay. Activate here. Discard here. Combat. All out. On the 4. They may go out. Just keep going as wide as I can. Any removal spell I find, other than Bitter Triumph, I guess, I could answer this. Attacking with it, I mean, it makes sense, right? Because it's like, if they don't attack and they block, they lose it for what feels like nothing, right? So now they gain 4 here. They block here, so they're at 9. So can't block, can. So let's say they block here, right? So they take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because they have to block the 5/5. Like there's no other ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? They have to block there. So hopefully this can hit an untapped land. That'd be best. Ooh, that's not a bad option. Down to 2. What more do they have for us? A second Shelter does blow Mako out, but beating another deck that revolved around gaining life is very good. Well, obviously, a lot of early pressure. The Mako getting pretty massive is good. That Fear somehow being turned online on turn 3 when we don't really have great ways to necessarily discard a ton of cards or like mill over a ton, which is obviously awesome. So we'll take it. Okay, so here we are with the Mayhem deck after, and my honest thoughts is I don't necessarily think it's all that great. I don't think the Insight card's that good. I think this card can feel good, but nowhere near as good as a card like Inti felt, where I think I would just cut these and almost just risk playing 4 of these. We have too much draw discard to necessarily be wanting to sit around on that. And also a card like the Weaver gets incredibly, or a lot stronger with a card like Inti. I about said incredibly stronger with Inti, but that didn't really make sense. But this card gets a lot better with this because you don't necessarily lose that value. Whereas if I play this on 2 and then play this, it's like I kind of want to discard because that's just good value for, like, especially if I have a Mako out. That's just really good value to put like 2 counters across the board. But then I have this to kind of maybe set us up, but it's not really positive at all. It's just more like if we hit a Mayhem card, it's good. If we don't hit a Mayhem card, it's bad. Especially if we have a card like this, it's very good, but if we don't, it's whatever. And maybe I should have just played more Mayhem cards in my deck, which I didn't really go all out on because I wanted to build the deck a bit differently than what you were seeing, probably by a lot of other people, where it's like playing the one with Flash, which I think is just bad in general. But I guess the 3-drop that's like a 5/4. I guess I didn't realize that it was a 5/4, but red, black, multicolored. Oh boy, here we go. Doing this the hard way, don't worry about it. Don't even have any. Yeah, I guess I didn't realize this was a 5/4 for 3 mana, to be honest, because you also have to discard for just a treasure, but it's definitely more worth it with this guy around because, you know, just a good value, and it's also more Mayhem. But it is another legendary creature. Every card in that set is legendary, so it also honestly feels like kind of hard to just want to play a ton of different things in there, where I kind of felt like filling up the deck and do a lot of draw discard with non-legendary creatures was a better idea. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. This is going to be a deck that probably needs to be solved a bit more than what I went through. But with that said, that's all the time I have for this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.